Assalamu alaikum. This is a video number 4, a continuation of our PHP tutorial. In our last video, we have seen how to display just a text message. You have 3 lines. You display the first one, provide a break, you like line break. You present the second one, and the third one like that. This is how the code is. But in this one, we are going to see. I'm going to introduce variable. How do you declare variable in PHP? In PHP, if you want to declare variable, first of all, you have to use $sign. That is this symbol to indicate that this is the. Then you follow it with either alphanumeric name, either alphabet or name. For example, if you want a variable to store a name, you just give it something like this name. Another variable to, let's say, store a number, you give it as this number. Another variable you want to store first name. So if you have a compound name, the first one you use the first letter, for small letter I mean, but the second one you use capital letter. First name, for example. But it's not a compulsory you must put it in this way, but this is a standard. But even if you use this one, nobody will say, your code is not going to work. But the standard, when you have a compound word, the next word, you need to capitalize the first letter of that particular name. Or you put it in this way. First, you put an underscore name to separate the two words with an underscore. At the same time, you can add a number apart from, maybe, let's say this is a number 1, the number 2, number, you want to represent number 2, number 02. You can use alphanumeric numbers and alphabet all together, but you have to start it with a $sign. And after you declare your variable, you can just assign okay, let's see what is an assignment statement. An assignment statement is after declaring your variable, you assign a value to it. For example, name as your name. So this one, we have a variable name that has a value Omar as the content of that particular variable, or you say full name. If you have a variable like this, you need to have a full name, for example, the variable or the contents or the value of that particular variable. So when you want to display the content of that variable, you just use the word echo, then you just display that particular variable. So if we save our work, we go back to our browser and refresh. We are going to have Umar Balarabe together with the second line. So we need to create a line break between this name and this hello world. So if we go back there, we have to create what? Echo, and we put our line break BR. That will separate it from this name and the next line. But to make it more to create a full sentence, you can just create my name is, then you add it with your variable. But when you are creating a sentence, or you want to display a text from normal raw characters and a variable, you need to concatenate. That is, you need to merge them together by adding a period. So my name is, you put a period, then the full name. So we go back to our browser, we refresh, we see my name is, this is a character or the text in which we want to add it, we want to concatenate it with our variable. So when you are displaying, you put the variable here, but as it's trying to display, it will display the content of that particular variable. So when you are dealing with a variable like this, and you are using a double quote, you can also put the variable inside the double quote. So when you do like this, it will still behave the same way. But when you are using a single quote, let's see what will happen if we have a single quote like this. So it will display just the name of that particular variable. So note this: Whenever you are using single quote, you can't put your variable inside the single quote. But when you have a double quote, you can put your variable inside double quote. When a variable is inside a double quote, it will consider it as a normal variable and it will display the content of that particular variable. But when you have a single quote, you cannot put your variable inside a single quote. So for a single quote like this, we need to create a concatenation. We concatenate the word my name is with our variable. So we need to remove the last that single quote. So this one will work without any problem. So whenever you have a single quote, you need to you put your variable outside the single quote, and if you have a double quote, you need to put your variable inside a what do you call it. If you are using a single variable, you put your variable outside the quote. If you are using double quote, you put your variable inside it. Similarly, if you have an let's say number 1 is equals to 1, and you have a number 2 is equals to 2. So when you want to combine them, you even though we're going to just talk about the what do you call it, we're going to talk about mathematical expression in future. When displaying this one, if you use concatenation, is going to just combine them together like you are combining 1 and 2. It's going to treat them like a string. So we need to put another line break here. Line break, then we put our numbers. If we go there, it's going to give us 1 and 2. But if we want to add them together, we remove the concatenation symbol, which is a period, and we add the the plus sign in between them, so that we perform an arithmetic expression. So this one will give us 3. But we are going to talk about the arithmetic expression in another video. This is just a glimpse of what we are going to see in our video. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, you can just post it under my channel.